Alright. Cherbourg, Tier 8 French large cruiser. We like to call that a kind of a battleship replacement. Guns in the front, not much in the back. It's fast, tanky-ish, good hit point pool.
Do we have a captain build for this? Because I'm seeing a lack of superintendent.
Thank you, I forgot about that. We got so distracted talking about the Kaga and everything. Here's the captain build. Thank you for the reminder, Grunty. So we've got main armaments, mod 1, engine modification, aiming, damage control, and concealment. Not a bad choice. As a super, well, large cruiser, what do you want to call it? It's going to burn longer than normal. Alternately, you could make the argument for propulsion or even steering gears, depending on how you play the ship. 12.46 rudder shift time is painful, so I might consider the rudder shift just to drop that rudder shift time a little bit. Propulsion, it's okay-ish. I mean, if you stop a lot and play like next to islands and want to scooty scoot, that helps. But okay. Hydroacoustic, engine boost are your choices that you picked. Definitely go engine boost over fighter plane, and definitely go hydro over defensive anti-air. Only an 8-point captain, jacadiego. I'm guessing this is
explains a lot of things.
Yeah. It's a tech tree ship. He's grinding it, I'm sure. So you're not going to put a lot of points into it. So what do you got? You went with grease the gears. You went with consumable enhancements, consumable specialist, gun feeder, and adrenaline rush.
I don't know what the plan is with this captain, but I would like to save the points. I would just invest 8 so you can get your concealment as quickly as possible.
So when I see this build, and this tells me, jacadiego, you don't care to play the ship longer than it takes to get to the next tier. And you already said you're really close to tier 9. So is that an accurate statement? Like, you're gonna leave this guy on the ship and then train up a new captain on the tier 9? Because if so, that explains picking a whole bunch of lower point skills, because you're not planning on taking him to 10, 11, 14 points, etc. Because... man, I don't know.
I'd still move the captain over, because, like, what are you doing? You're starting the tier 9 and with a 6-point captain again? That's not great either.
So, okay. So if you've got free respec, then you might as well use the points as they come, with the idea that you can respecialize later on. Let's say once you get to 10 points, then you move on to there. I will say, in my personal experience grinding up lines and stuff, I've gotten to the point where I would rather keep a captain on a tech tree ship and train up a new one than pay the cost to move the captain up to the next one, because at some point I'm probably going to want a captain on that tier ship again later. And this is for tier 8s, 9s, and 10s especially. You've got the ability to do that for 6s and 7s, maybe even 5s. Hey, that's up to you. But definitely 8, 9, and 10. I find that having a captain with decent number of points on each ship is worth more to me than a high tier captain on a tier 10, whatever. But that's partly because I rarely play tier 10. I would much rather grind lines. I would much rather play mid tiers, because to me they're more fun. That's just me.
Still very, very painful if you have to play a tier 8 or higher ship and not have at least 10 points. I mean, it is what it is.
What I would do...
just that you're at a huge disadvantage.
Sure. What I would do, and Ghost, that's the point I'm making. It's more expensive in the long run. Wag the Twitchy, thank you very much for the follow. What I would do is I would spend the free XP or League Commander XP to bump the tier to 10 points and put him on the ship and then leave him. Get a new ship. Hey, new commander. Okay, bump him up to 10 points. And then there you go.
It costs 170,000, I think, to get to tier 10, to a level 10 point captain. And I mean, it's easy for you and me to say, right? But I guess there's a lot of people out there that don't have that leader commander or free XP available to do that.
So the difficult thing about the way free XP works and all that and League Commander XP is it's hard to get that until you've got your first or second 21 pointer, right? Once they've maxed, because then if you're using them, especially on a ship on a whole bunch of premiums, all of that stacks and it helps. There's a bit of a trap with maybe this will be another Zat chat sometime, but there's a bit of a trap where players will say, "Oh, I'm almost at 12 points, and I can do this with that, so let me just bump up my captain to 12." I feel like that's a trap. I think you're better off you bump to 10, then never spend it again, and then just keep doing other ones. I think you're better off doing it that way. But that requires some restraint, in a sense, and the idea of a long-term goal mindset. Let's get back to the replay. Let's look at this build. For the 8 points that he's got, I think this is fine. You're getting main battery reload booster back sooner, and I might drop consumables for priority target. That's the only change I might make.
I'd take Superintendent over Adrenaline Rush.
I'd get the extra heal?
I would want the extra heal, yeah.
Okay. And extra main battery reload, and extra engine boost, and extra hydro. Sure. So, jacadiego, would you also go for priority target?
I think with the extra consumables available, you can live with not having the extra duration, so I would probably do that, yes.
I think it's very helpful for a ship like the Cherbourg to know just how effed you're about to become. You got a lot of people targeting you. You know you need to either back up and get behind an island, or, you know, gamer turn and run.
I have to say, I'm also not a big fan of the consumables in the first tier. Like, I would just not use that point at all. Like,
well, like he said, he's got free respec, so he might as well throw it in something, because he can respec it for free later. So
yeah,
I get him there. I totally get him there.
I don't know what the engine problem. Like, I know the the normal cruisers have problems with engine and rudder shift, and they getting knocked out all the time. I don't know if that's the same for the Cherbourg.
Okay. Not so much for engines, but rudder, probably. So last stand could work. Jacadiego says,
I don't know if you need it. Like, it's just from.
Fair enough. And jacadiego earlier was talking about how he never uses priority target. So hey, if you're used to not using it and you can get by without it, and you really don't think it hurts your gameplay, then fine. Don't run it. If you don't need that extra awareness, fine. Flags, anti-det, ramming, fire reduction, heal boost, speed boost, secondary, and consumables. Secondary is the only one I'm confused about. The rest of them make sense. You could run the fire chance ones. I might drop the secondary and get the 2 fire chance ones if you spam EG a lot. Otherwise, whatever.
You could also run the hydro flag if you wanted to.
Sure. Hydro flag is nice. The thing about hydro is that the hydro lasts 10% longer, then it's 10% longer before you can use your next hydro. So there's, you know,
it's essentially the same as your skill that you, right?
Yeah. You want to improve the secondaries because of subs. Secondary battery reaches out to 8.38 kilometers with the flag. Okay. Without the flag,
I can see it against like if you have enough of those flags, it doesn't hurt.
Sure. Oh, you're saying that that subline has improved secondary accuracy. Okay. So what you're saying is you get a little bit extra zhuzh out of it. Okay, fine. That's fair. Alright. Let's take a look at the replay then. It's trap. There are no carriers. There are 3 subs. 3 battleships. A lot of cruisers for you to beat up on with your AP. Getting more than a few subs of your secondaries, and it's a surprise. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm sorry, but nothing will ever beat the reverse on top of a sub.
Oh, I love that one. I love that one so much. That was hilarious. For those that missed the replay we're talking about, there was a Des Moines game on Ocean where the guy literally, he just backed up and literally ran over the enemy sub. Didn't even know it existed. Just accidentally ran him over.
I have a diehard Mel on my carrier. Getting the last kill into a submarine. That was fun too.
So, let's talk about real quick the Cherbourg and its strengths. The guns, you got 8 barrels all in the front. Really good AP against cruisers. Some battleships depending on your range. Pretty good HE characteristics as well, especially against enemy battleships that are higher tier. And the nice thing about that is you can set them on fire, wait for the DCP. If the DCP is 1 fire, you laugh, pop your main battery reload booster, and set them on 2, 3, 4 sticky fires, and laugh even harder.
I like the switch to AP here.
Oh, absolutely. Arian spotted.
Broadside shot here.
Unfortunately, Island ate most of it. I think you've shot a little behind too. But that's okay.
It was worth a try. It was definitely worth a try.
100%. So now you're spotted. Let's see what the Arian does. It looks like he's actually slowing down. Oh my god, look at that. I was going to mention at the start of your game that engine boost was not really necessary to get, you know, because it gets you in the action way too quick, but at the same time, it actually puts you in position to really smack that sub with ASW, so...
I actually think you need to aim a little bit at the water and have your shells actually arm on the water. Oh, never mind.
And there you followed my my example, Grunty. You say something and then eat your words minutes after.
I was basing it on the fact on the first sub where he all got over pants.
Nice kill on the Arian. You took all those torpedoes in the face though, and I think you just overturned. Very easy to do that because of that really bad rudder shift. That's where I think if you had steering gears, you might have actually been able to dodge those torpedoes. And Pensacola going broadside. You hate to see it. And your shells disappeared. God, that happens to me. It's so infuriating. I like the decision to stop here, by the way. There's no need to go farther forward and risk getting yourself shot at on your side. I would continue shooting at the Pensa, though. Too late now, he's already turned to dodge. All you gotta do now is you gotta hope for him to overturn. Looks like he's doing it. He did it. I'm not sure about this decision to keep moving farther forward, though.
Yeah, it's super aggressive. Like, you're way ahead of your team.
Alright, it's so you can double Citadel to Mackinson. That's why. Got it. Because it's a tier 6, of course.
Alerte incendie. La victoire est à notre portée.
And the Pensacola did a nice job of getting stuck on the border for you. At this point, I think your Salmon should have the submarine surveillance, so it might be worth kind of suggesting to him, hey, can you use that? Especially that, because now that you got that kill, you want to know where that sub is. So I might ask the Salmon to use that skill, or that consumable, I mean, so that you can see exactly where that sub is. That way your ASW actually hits something. Because otherwise you're just guessing. And you're in full charge mode, so okay.
Yeah, I would
You're
not
very-
charge into secondary range of that battleship there.
And that's exactly what I was just about to say. You're kind of fortunate that the Tirpitz is not full secondary spec, although his secondaries are firing off now. Because you're just giving that Tirpitz free damage. Nice hit on the Cachalot. Here's your Superintendent would come in handy. You'd have another heal after this one.
I also noticed that you did lose actually your rudder once.
Hmm.
It was right when he was crossing the channel and he got torqued and it went out there.
Good to know. I didn't quite catch that myself, so that's where Last Stand would come in handy. If you were forced, you know, to take a full duration, you know, rudder breakage or something. And there's the Edinburgh. And there was the Edinburgh. Because he's turning broadside to you. Okay. The nice thing about these French ships is you only have to point your bow at the enemy. Just let the enemy do the rest for you. And you totally know he's turning so he can torp you because he knows he's gonna die. There you go.
On the rudder. I'm actually surprised you got your rudder knocked out being in that position.
If your Hydro was still available, I might have charged the Otago here, but go for the Leon. Why not? You're not sure to go after... So, I'm pausing it right here, because I think this is a good opportunity to talk since you're bringing this up, jacadiego. If you're not sure what to do, stopping because you're not detected and are relatively close to cover and near teammates is a good idea. In general. I would have stopped if I wasn't sure what to do.
Yeah,
Honestly?
Seems like a good idea because this battleship on the south, or on the right of you, is probably gonna get spotted very, very soon by your division mate. And once you know what this battleship is actually doing,
That's a
you
cruiser,
can
that's the
make an
Otago.
oh, that's the Otago, sorry.
Mhm.
And then you can
That's
make
okay.
an informed decision where to go.
I mean, absolutely. If I had another heal available, and this is where that Superintendent would have come in handy, I would have nosed into the channel and basically just dared the Otago to come at me. Because you just back up, dodge the torps, and laugh, you know? If you stopped, you're saying you think that the Leon would come around the corner, see you, and shoot you. Sure. That's a possibility. But the thing is, if you stop and you wait, your Nagato catches up, Salmon catches up. At this point, the game's a win. If it was more even, stopping here and waiting helps you get more of your team into position to help you assure the win, right? Versus right now, I mean, you can always YOLO because you're going to win no matter what, right? Get the damage and do all the things and win harder. But, like I said, I think if this was a very close match, stopping here is the right decision.
Yeah, stop. The thing is, like, it all started with your charge through the A cap. Like, you were so far ahead of the rest of the team, they never had a chance to catch up. And this now is a situation where you're more or less paying the price for it.
Right. All right, let's take a look at what you do here now that we talked about that. Because I'm going to say it this way, the absolute worst scenario for you is if the Atago turns around, appears on your side, and torpedoes you right here. And as I mentioned that, here comes some Atago torps. And now the turn like this, you're expecting the Atago to be there. There he is. Are you giving Leon's side? A little bit.
Just enough to be safe behind the island. So I like the turn thousand here. Makes the Leon unable to shoot.
Yep.
As long as you stay there.
And that's where you need to slow down and kind of pitch your tent. Also, main battery reload boost now because you're almost dead. Definitely dead now. Nice hit. All that needs to happen is a fire, and you are gonzies.
Subtops AP? I mean, you'd had the extra AP with the super too. But yeah,
no,
of course, not taking the torps is superior.
Yeah, of course. And so that would have helped in that engagement, and that goes back to the discussion about using damage control mod 2 versus the rudder shift. I think the rudder shift would have saved you there.
I know it's kind of a meme of friendships, but sometimes you need to hit the desktop key on. Sometimes the ship need to reverse.
You always wanted an Atago, then they gave away the Takao, and you're like, well, free premium. Absolutely. The nice thing about Atago is you get another one of those for grinding up like daily wins or something. But otherwise, I agree with you.
Hoping for Citadel, not 7 overpens. Don't we all? Don't we all?
Here's the problem about those Japanese heavy cruisers. We always say they have troll armor. Troll's the user, because every now and then you get Citadel and you're like, how did that happen? And then when you're shooting at them, they troll the shooter because you don't get the Citadels, and you're like, how did that happen? S-button, what's that? Oof. So, I mean, it's a good game. You got 4 kills and stuff, but that last part where we paused it, that was your opportunity to save your ship. And instead you yeeted yourself, which is fine because you got more damage, but...
S-button, what's that? Yep!
It's unique to Japanese ships. Well, there you go, Blue Hawk. Cue the clip from like a year ago, the Zao being citadel by a Petro, shooting its smokestack from the rear, right? A feature! I know, right, there's no repair cost anymore, so what do you care if your ship goes down? I agree. And like I said, when I paused the video there and you said you weren't sure what to do, if it was a close game, you don't want to yeet yourself and throw the game. But because you were doing so well, who cares? Go for the extra damage. It's more XP that way. Are any other questions, Jacadiego, that you have from the replay? Anything else you want to discuss? Oh, you're playing with Stats Bloke. I just noticed this.
Oh.
I didn't even notice that. He was probably like, "Would you please slow down?"
Yeah.
in his typical manner. Like, I could totally see him saying that.
I
Alright,
would be
here's the-
too if I was divisioned with someone that just runs away from me the whole game.
Right?
It's the other side of the French speed boost. Like, yeah, you can get
Mhm.
into the action so quick,
Mhm.
but you also can get ahead of yourself so quick.
Absolutely, yes. You got a division, Kraken? Gotcha. Temptus is one of our winners for our giveaway. Congratulations, Temptus. Yeah, so watching this, the only feedback I can give you really is one, way too aggressive at A, but A, it worked for you. Congratulations. I think a big part of that, and I don't mean to take this away from you, is the matchmaking. The fact that you got put into a game with so few battleships and so many cruisers that you could just eat up with your AP. I mean, it's great for you.
It was all the low tiers on this side too, right?
Yeah. I mean, even the Mackinson. I mean, come on. It's a Mackinson, and you citadeled him twice. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. Night, Neil TB, if you're here, say something as well in chat, because you won as well. Tempest is here. That's awesome. And then the second point is after killing the Edinburgh and dodging the torpedoes, dive the island, get into cover, and stop. It's time to stop. Otherwise, good game, dude. Oh, and try changing to rudder shift and see if you like it that better. I think you will. And superintendent if you can. It's a good thing you were listening to tell him. That's so nice of you, Treesock. Any other questions, Jacadiego? Are you good with that coverage? And Brenty, anything else you want to bring up? I think that's it, right?
No, I have nothing to add.
Okay. Putting anything else from you, or are you good?
Oh, I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks for sending that one in, Jacadiego, then.